I had to decide that where my kids, when they grow up, where should they be studying? And and I figured out that US is one of the good place where they should study when they go to university or college. And irrespective of if I shift to the US or not, they would be going there. So I thought that, if I have an option, is there an option available where, I can, where going to the US for the study become easier? So I started researching on Google, and that's where I came across EB5, that this is one of the option, and it's a comparatively faster than anything else. I thought that how could someone just invest X amount of money and get a green card? Because all the thing that I had in my mind or from a previous experience, because in India, a lot of people go to US, apply for H1, and then they're waiting for 15 years for their green card. And I thought that is how everybody gets a green card. But when I came across this option that, hey, you can put some money, invest, and you can get a green card as an investor in a much shorter period of time, I was pretty surprised at that point of time. And so that made me more comfortable that this is better rather than waiting for 15 years through the other visas that are available, whether it is EB1, 1, 2, 3, or whatever are there. I think the first would be that the availability uh, of the immigration attorney. So when I say availability, that as I told you, when I talked to a couple of the others, they were not replying to my email. They were not interested in me find that much that they will ask me question if I was solving a problem or not. Because in between, when they send you a long list of documents that are required, not everything you will have it handy, yeah, and you will have a lot of questions that if this is not there, can this work, and things like that. So that, yep, I think that really create a huge difference, because when you're going through a process and you're investing a lot of money, anxiety is always there at every step, and you need someone who basically takes you through that anxiety and answers all the question that you have. I think that plays a huge role. Say that go with the one who has a lot of experience and has a personal people side of it, as compared to purely professional, and I will charge you for all the hours that I spend with you. So one of the criteria was actually that they should care about more about me rather and not just my money. So whenever, let's suppose I interacted with EB5AN, I got a very quick response within a couple of hours itself. I should not even say a day. So that was a very big factor for me. And this was not just before I invested; it was after the investment also. If I had any query, it was very quick to get a response from you guys. So that played a very big parameter. Being in business myself in consulting, this is a huge trust factor, that if you raise anxiety of the people at the other end, they don't trust you, no matter how good you are. The second was, again, the history. That means if historically there are a lot of projects that have been successful, that was another criteria. And I think the bigger role that played was a lot of regional centers were there as a middleman. Of course, they help you invest, but all my learning about EB5 uh, was done majority uh, by all the knowledge that was provided by EB5AN website. So a huge trust actually got developed from there. Every question that I had in my mind, whenever I used to search for it on Google or try to ask, all the answers were available. And it was not very biased way. It was very unbiased manner. Hey, if you are of this particular type, you should consider these kind of projects. It was not necessarily that consider only our projects. So someone who is actually more interested in giving value to you and helping you creates actually that was much matters more to me actually. So in all the regional centers, nobody was interested in coaching me and answering my queries. They were just interested in investing in their project. But I found it a little bit different in case of EB5AN. I didn't get a chance to talk to any principal in any of the regional centers, actually. It was mostly someone who was hired either 2 years back or 4 years back, or an associate or 5 years. I mean, they were all guys who were there the job. So I have to maybe write to info@regionalcenter.com to know what is my status, or if I have to ask a question, there would be no name, which was again making me very nervous in the end. Which was not the case with here. Sam, I was interacting with you. You were very fast in replying to me and all that stuff, which boosted my confidence a lot. I think my criteria was very simple from the start, that if I'm investing my money, I want a project that gives me return and does not fail in a way. So I actually looked at all the projects and all the regional centers that are there. I had a talk with them, and my first preference was, of course, which has a less risk and has a good success rate. And the next criteria I looked at was that it should not be a project which is just getting started, because if it's just getting started, it has a high chances of failure also. It not high chances of failure, but it has a high risk that it can stop at any point of time. There are a lot of factors through which it may not work out in the end. I also came across some statistics that I was tracking very closely some of the stats that were posted on the blogs like LucidText, etc., where it was given that what is the current rate looks like, that if people are applying in urban, that how long it's going to take for you to get a green card. And in February, I came across that number has already reached 5 years, estimated. Nobody knows accurate, but it was reached 5 years. And from my research, it showed that the people who applied in EB5 before the old way, when 500K was the investment, they sometimes had to wait for 7 years and 10 years. So I quickly shifted from urban to the rural one. So yeah, I was very, very close to investing in one urban project, and I had to change it in February. So I came back to the scratch at zero, and then I started to look at all the rural ones. And I was actually, shortlisted to one was Twin Lakes, and there was one other project which was related to providing internet connection to the rural area. That is where when you ask about my business background, these were the two ones which I was very close to. And then I figured out that internet project, which is going to take 5 to 6 years to finish, and based on my estimate, that it 5 to 6 years everywhere Starlink can come up and they can provide internet via satellite, and that project can go bust if this happens. So then I actually left that project. And then in the end, I came across few projects which were left with, like the housing one, which was, the one which EB5 has Twin Lakes. So this was one of the one which was prominently, looking at as a one which had everything that I was looking at. So when I say everything, that means it has a very good history. It was not a blank site where it is projected that the houses are going to be made. It had people who had already invested and also got an approval on EB5. That means that was also a plus factor. So all the things, it was very close to Atlanta downtown. That means there are a lot of people who would be shifting. It is not going to get. It is not that far away land in mountains that nobody would want to buy a house over there. So it was a high success kind of project that I found out.